Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. My name is France Gelinas, and I'm the MPP for Nickel-Belt and the health critic for my party, the NDP. The reason we are here this afternoon is because in the next few hours, I will be introducing a private member's bill to declare the first Tuesday in April of every year as Caregiver Day in Ontario, so that from now on, we would recognize that day as a day to honor our caregivers, but also as a day to engage in a dialogue. And you will learn a little bit more about this soon. There are over 2.6 million caregivers in Ontario right now, and I think it is high time that we recognize the important work that they do, but that they do often in a way that is not recognized. Ça me fait plaisir de présenter les gens qui vont travailler avec moi pour s'assurer que le premier mardi d'avril, chaque année, soit reconnu comme la journée pour les aidants naturels en Ontario. L'Ontario a près de 2,6 millions d'aidants et d'aidantes naturelles et on aura une journée dédiée à eux. To start the conversations, I would like to ask Mrs. Lisa Levin, who is the chair of the Caregiver Coalition here in Ontario. Lisa.
Thank you, France. The Ontario Caregiver Coalition is so excited that you're championing Family Caregiver Day bill in Ontario, because really we are all touched by caregiving. We're either caregivers ourselves, we know a caregiver, or one day we may be cared for by a caregiver. And as France said, there's 2.6 million caregivers in Ontario. That's over 1 in 4 Ontarians. 28% of Ontarians over the age of 15 is a caregiver. 28% des Ontariens âgés de plus de 15 ans sont des aidantes et aidants naturels. Most of us, though, don't identify ourselves as family caregivers. We think, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother or a father, but they're also caregivers. And caregivers are the invisible backbone of Ontario's healthcare system. Les aidants familiaux sont l'épine dorsale invisible du système de soins de santé en Ontario. In fact, 98% of people who receive home care are supported by family caregivers. And family caregivers in Canada contribute over $31 billion to the health and social service system. However, the caregivers are becoming burnt out increasingly and at an alarming rate across Ontario, and they need to have more support. Les aidants naturels partout dans la province sont de plus en plus bruyés, et ils ont besoin d'avoir plus de soutien. That's why the Ontario Caregiver Coalition is partnering with the Change Foundation, starting this month, on a province-wide engagement of family caregivers to hear about their challenges and hear about their interactions with the healthcare system so we can make improvements in Ontario. So the time has come in Ontario to recognize family caregivers and their important role, and more importantly for family caregivers themselves to recognize who they are and to reach out and ask for help when they need it so that they can continue to support our healthcare system.
Thank you, Lisa. We have with us a very special person, a caregiver who has taken time out of his very, very busy day to share his story with us. His name is Ken Wong. Listen to his story.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm truly excited and humble and honored to be invited to this press conference. Caregiving for a loved one or friend is a complicated role, full of human drama and emotions. You sometimes experience joy, loneliness, feeling lost, feeling guilty, feeling that you failed, frustration and grief. I know this because I'm a full-time caregiver. I've been caring for my wife, Nada, 24/7 since 2008, as well as our twin girls. At that time, I quit my job as a professional engineer to care for her. I am in my 7th year as a caregiver. My wife, Nada, cannot communicate, feed herself, or look after any of her personal hygiene needs. She needs assistance to take care of her and keep her safe. Nada is now 53 years old. She was diagnosed to have corneobasal frontotemporal dementia at the age of 46 when our girls were 16 years old. This disease is an irreversible neurodegenerative dementia causing loss of language and executive functions. Some days are very tough to get through. The biggest problem with this disease is the behavioral issue. She sometimes screams and becomes agitated for hours on end, night and day. Currently, there's no cure for this disease. The doctor thinks her expectancy is another 5 years, so it's a long, long goodbye. I've been asking myself many times why a good person like my wife, Nada, has to endure this pain and suffering. Maybe to learn or teach us what life is about. I don't know, but I'm thankful that many years Nada and I share together and continue to share in a different way. She's my best friend, my soulmate. I'm also grateful that I'm able to care for her. Being a caregiver, your whole world is turned upside down. There are days that are really difficult to get through because of our emotions and the exhaustive fight for healthcare service. It's also a lonely job. For whatever reasons, friends and family distance themselves after a while and are not around for fair support. The most difficult for me is overcoming the feeling of guilt and excessive worrying. What's important for me now is that I'm still keeping the promise to my wife to love, cherish, and protect her, for better or for worse, in sickness and health, till death do us part. Unpaid caregiver are the hidden backbone of our healthcare system. If unpaid caregiver continue to receive inadequate support, then our healthcare system will be stressed to the breaking point. There is an old proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. Our society as a whole needs to be more compassionate, understanding, respectful, as the two will take a village to care for our infirm and dying loved ones at home for as long as possible. Change and improvement will only come if we all work together. This is an important opportunity to grow in our humanity, to learn and teach compassion. The highest form of love is a love based on service to another human being without receiving or expecting anything in return. I would like to thank MPP France Gelinas for her compassion to introduce the Family Caregiver Bill in the next few hours. Having a day to recognize family caregiver in Ontario will raise community awareness and understanding of caregiver issues and start the conversation. I am proud of all the caregivers who are out there who provide care day in and day out, who went the extra mile for a loved one, a friend, or someone in the community. Not everyone is brave enough to take on this role. I truly believe we all have the ability to love and to be selfless. If each of us helps one person or helps another person to help someone else, our world will be a better place. Thank you very much.
Certainly, words of wisdom. Thank you, Mr. Wong. I would now invite Mrs. Abidah Lahani from the MS Society to say a few words.
Thank you, MPP Gelinas, for that introduction and for inviting the MS Society to be here today. On behalf of the Ontario and Nunavut Division of the MS Society, we applaud the NDP for acknowledging the extraordinarily important role that family caregivers play in enhancing the quality of life for those living with MS and other disabilities. The value of family caregivers, not only to their loved ones, but also to Ontario's healthcare system, cannot be overstated. The MS Society strongly advocates for more support for family caregivers, and designating the first Tuesday in April as Family Caregiver Day ensures we don't lose sight of the valuable role that they play every day.
Thank you. I would now ask Sue VanderBent. Sue is the CEO of Home Care Ontario, and as was mentioned before, many of the clients of home care depends on caregivers. Sue.
Thank you, France. I would like to thank Ken, first of all, for that very touching story, and to think that there are 2.6 billion stories similar to that is quite humbling. And so, as a founding member of the Ontario Caregiver Coalition, Home Care Ontario warmly congratulates MPP Gelinas for having the compassion to introduce the Family Caregiver Day Bill in Ontario. Family caregivers, as has been said before, do form the foundation of the home care system, certainly, and I would say the whole health care system, because they provide countless hours of dedicated service and support to family, friends, and neighbors. So acknowledging their important role is a really significant step forward to help us understand what it is like to be a caring society. Home Care Ontario will continue to support the good work of the Ontario Caregiver Coalition and the work of all of my colleagues with other stakeholders and all of our MPPs to improve our system of home care and to support family caregivers as they provide invaluable support to their loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. VanderBent. This concludes our formal remarks. I want everybody to reflect on some of the statistics that were shared with us. The 1 in 3 caregivers that are struggling. If you look at caregivers specifically dealing with dementia or Alzheimer, the statistics reach close to 70% of them that are struggling, that are having a tough time. We've heard from Mr. Wong that we can all do something to make this easier. We can reach out, go for a visit, make a phone call, send an email, making sure that they stay connected, that you offer to help. This is how we build a caring society. Avec les témoignages que l'on a reçus aujourd'hui, c'est évident l'importance qu'ont les aidants naturels. Mais on a tous, chacun, un rôle à jouer. Et notre rôle, c'est de s'assurer que ces personnes-là ne se sentent pas isolées. On peut facilement faire ça avec une visite, un coup de fil, un courriel, pour leur démontrer qu'ils ont encore des attaches. Offrir notre aide si on est capable. Avec 2,6 millions d'aidants naturels, on en connaît tous. La journée des aidants naturels, le premier mardi d'avril, ça sera une journée pour les célébrer. The bill will mark the first Tuesday of April as Caregiver Day, and I hope everybody take that opportunity to change their habit and reach out and recognize them for the important work that they do. Merci. Thank you.